All right, first up today, a growing problem that's now being called the mom drinking culture. Listen up, everyone, right? The number of women who consume more than 4 drinks a day has gone up by about 60% in just the past decade.
How about that? Just the past 10 years. In fact, a national survey on alcohol and related conditions now says there's an 84% increase in the number of women specifically who are now considered to have a drinking disorder. Kellie Kitley is a mom of 4, a licensed clinical social worker, and the Amazon best-selling author. Her autobiography of survival is called Myself. In her book, she shares her own journey to quit drinking alcohol. And we are super thrilled to have you here.
Thanks for being here.
I think I remember seeing you on Megyn Kelly and a bazillion other shows.
Yep, we've been all over the place.
You know, I'm just trying to get the word out.
Good for you.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, you know, so you're used to helping people and listening to people every day. What made you think it might be a good idea for you to share your own personal story?
Well, as a psychotherapist and being exposed to addiction and a very heavy drinking culture in my own family of origin, it was something I was always aware of and really what drew me to the field. But because I was a binge drinker and wasn't a daily drinker who lost my job or who became homeless, some of the qualifiers we think of as people who have a problem with addiction.
Who hit rock bottom, so to speak.
Yeah. I was managing life. I was a very high functioning woman in society with a drinking problem. And so I felt that I was very alone a lot of the time because I didn't talk about it with anybody. And so 6 years ago, I stopped drinking completely, and it has changed my life. And so now I am on a mission to share my story and share my experience, strength, and hope to help other women.
Good for you.
I think
awesome.
it's, I love what you said about the fact that it wasn't this daily drinking issue that a lot of people think is the real problem, but you'd have moments of binge drinking. So I think a lot of people wonder then when you quit, what is it like when you're a binge drinker? Do you have some of the same physical symptoms, or is it this FOMO, you know, kind of situation? Is it trying to relearn how to engage with your friends and family? What is it?
Sure. So the first year, actually, just to be very candid, is difficult.
Yeah.
We need to change who we're hanging out with, where we're hanging out, maybe not going out as much, which then increases anxiety of feeling what's wrong with me, why am I different, why can't I drink the way other people can. But I am pretty outgoing without alcohol, so I didn't necessarily have the problem. I still love to dance, and I would have loved to go to Cher last night and sing at the top of my lungs.
You would have liked it. You would have felt bad, though, about aging. I think all of us would. Yeah.
So I actually love not drinking anymore because I can actually remember the times that I have. So it has really been a learning process, and I continue to grow and evolve. And I really love just being able to sing and dance at weddings without alcohol.
Is the FOMO real? Did you, at least at some points through your journey, have a fear of missing alcohol, and did you miss it and find some situations awkward, or you were even craving it?
Absolutely. Even in my own home. I met my husband at my parents' bar in Chicago. And so when I stopped drinking.
Your parents own a bar.
They do. We lived above it.
Gotcha. Yep.
That might have been a qualifier. But it certainly changed our marriage. It made it stronger today. I can look back and say that, but I was terrified. I didn't know how to be with him without alcohol in social situations. So
does he drink?
He does.
Okay.
And he drinks normally.
Okay.
Do you feel, because there's a growing body of research and studies, and there are still a lot of experts who will say you cannot drink in moderation once you're, I don't know, technically an alcoholic or have a problem drinking normally, as they say. And I know some people don't like to use the word normal either because it implies that everything else is abnormal. But do you think people can become moderate or social drinkers where they sort of can take it or leave it?
Absolutely. I mean, substance use disorders along the lines of a spectrum. And so we have somebody over here who, you know, may have hit a really hard rock bottom, ended up in jail, or we may have somebody who just doesn't like themselves as much when they are drinking alcohol. And so what I tell people and really educate my clients about is if you start recognize it's not working for you anymore, or you don't like the way you feel when you drink or the way you feel the next day, certainly try moderation management. And there is a certain protocol to try to do that, you know, 7 drinks a week, and how do we space it out? And some people do have success with that. For me personally, it's been an abstinence-based program because I did try that for so long with not much success. Some people put a lot of rules in place. I can only drink on the weekends or at special occasions. But then people have a tendency to go overboard because it's like being on a diet. I'm not allowed to have chocolate or cookies, or, you know, the minute they're on the table, what do we want to do?
That's all they want.
Too much.
Yeah. So what do you say to a friend? You know, maybe because I think this mom drinking culture is, I mean, it is a big deal. And I think a lot of us women can identify, you know, when we've been in those situations or we have friends or family in that situation. Would it have mattered to you if somebody said something to you, or did you have to come to that yourself? Because I wonder for women watching, how do you work within your friends and your family circles to help others?
Great question. I think ultimately it needs to be a personal decision. But certainly if there's been anybody in my life that I've had a concern about their drinking, I will bring it to their attention. But I'm not a police officer, and sometimes people say...
Right, because that would make people uncomfortable sometimes around you.
And especially that has changed in my friend groups as well, you know, that I'm the one not drinking, and does everybody think I'm judging them? Or, you know...
and do they still include you?
They do. I mean, I have certainly had to expand my friend group, and I have a lot of sober moms that I'm friends with that just enhances my experience in life. But bring it to somebody's attention, but ultimately it needs to be a personal decision.
I was hoping you could talk a little bit about being a mom and the pressure and the demands of being a mom, because it does seem like it has changed somewhat. And there's sort of this new culture. I mean, we talk about mommy drinking culture. You have 4 kids. You work a demanding job, plus doing all the things that you do at home. And I think some moms feel like, hey, I work all day long, and they sort of give themselves permission at night to have wine or whatever their drink of choice might be, and sort of feel like it's the only time that they can relax. And I know you also mentioned feeling alone, which is going to shock people, because when you have 4 kids and you're married, they're like, how can you be alone? But you can feel alone in a crowd even.
Absolutely. We have so many demands on us as women, whether we're working women, stay-at-home women, mothers. And I think ultimately, you know, there's this huge hype in the fact that mom drinking culture has become, you know, a norm. But I think a lot of times women were drinking at home and isolating a lot. It's just out in the public more. And we have more pressures, I think, today than maybe our mothers or our grandmothers had. And for me, I was at the height of my drinking after my 4th child because I had so many balls up in the air that I was trying to manage. And alcohol does, it takes the edge off. But there are a lot of other things we can engage in that does the same. Yoga, meditation, talking with a friend. I love having some chocolate at night with tea, you know, and so finding something, we have to find a replacement.
That's really cute. And that's your call to action today, which I think is really special. Your book is incredible. We didn't even get to a lot of parts of your story, which is very revealing in your book. And you talk about a lot of the difficult things you've been through. But what you're saying to moms is set up active things that don't include alcohol. If you're sober curious, you know, such as yoga, bowling, tickets to a theater, a running group, all of those things are wonderful replacements, and kind of expanding your group of people you associate with.
Yeah, it takes work. It takes work, but we can do it. And we'll be happier in the end when we do make those shifts.
I love it. Great to meet you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.